What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard with a Selesnya Vigilance list. That's right, Vigilance. Obviously, we lost Hawaii, but we still have some nice Vigilance creatures and some nice synergy going on. But I think there's still something there, at least as a semi-competitive list. So let's jump right into it here. We got 2 copies here of Fight as 1. We got a good mix of humans and non-humans, so this should definitely give us some nice value. Obviously, there's plenty of removal in the current formats, so we definitely need some little bit of protection, and especially since we're pretty creature heavy, we're not running a whole lot of removal ourselves. It gives us a way to kind of lean into our creatures to kind of help us win the game. First creature here is Speaker of the Heavens, 1 mana, 1/1, Vigilance, lifelink, human cleric. And as long as we have 27 life or more, we can tap it and make a 4/4 angel token at sorcery speed. Got 2 copies here of Alpine Watchdog. Initially on 4 copies here, but wanted to make some more room for some other utility and removal type spells, so just cut it back to 2 because we have all 4 copies of Murasa Rootgrazer, which is strictly a better card. It does have a little bit more restrictive mana cost, but basically it shouldn't be too much of an issue with our deck. But just having a 2/3 is better than a 2/2. We don't really care about the landfall because we don't have any of those shenanigans going on, but we do want to make room for some interaction, so we have a couple copies of Glass Casket. Being able to exile a creature on our opponent's side with mana 3 or less is pretty important. There's plenty of very, very good targets this can hit. We also have 2 copies of Banishing Light, just giving us more utility removal in the main. We've got 2 copies of Basri Ket. Haven't really played around with them too much. Definitely works better in a go-wide strategy. I feel like we have just enough creatures, and especially with the Vigilance, we can easily give one of our creatures a +1/+1 and indestructible and swing in and then still have a creature back to block and protect our Basri, and it doesn't take very long to get up to his -6, where we can make 1/1 tokens and put 1/1 counters on each creature we control. With our creatures trading Vigilance, the keyword Vigilance, for some of our stats, some power and toughness. So Basri Ket kind of helps make up for that a little bit if we can get to his -6. So I have 3 copies here of Skyclave Apparition, just more utility removal, also in the form of a creature, so it's fantastic. Of course, we will get to exile non-land, non-token permanents up to 4 mana or less. Alert Heedbonder, though, is going to work really, really well with our Speaker of the Heavens, with gaining 1 life for each creature you control with Vigilance, and it'll help us get up to that 27, hopefully very quickly, and we start making 4/4 tokens and take over the game that way, potentially. Otherwise, Alert Heedbonder is a human, and it's a 2/4 with Vigilance. So I have 4 copies of Basri's Lieutenant. Since we do have some of that counter synergy with Basri Ket and whatnot, we can also run Basri's Lieutenant and get some additional value off of our +1 counters, because if it comes down, we get a +1 counter on a creature we control, and then if a creature dies that has a +1 counter on it, we get a 2/2 White Knight creature token with Vigilance, so very much on theme here. Questing Beast, of course, has Vigilance, because it has basically every keyword ability, it seems like. So 2 copies, though, because I want to make room for... I feel like the Basri's Lieutenant is a little more flavorful, and all 4 copies of Frondland Felidar, which has been an all-star in my experience with these Vigilance lists. Like, once you can get your Frondland Felidar down, this will definitely break some stalemates for you. You can swing in with Vigilance, and before your opponent declares blockers, you can tap down your opponent's creatures so they can't even block. So that's just fantastic. Otherwise, just a 4 mana 3/5. It's a pretty reasonable sized body here. Rounding out our curve, we have 2 Emeria's Call, 1 Turntimber Symbiosis, which of course can be land, since we are leaning slightly towards white. Emeria's Call, and we're pretty mid-rangey, so definitely getting up to 7 mana is not unreasonable that we can top deck this and actually cast this. So all of our creatures, of course, get indestructible because we don't have any actual angels in the list other than the 2 4/4 angels that are made by this sorcery speed spell. But everything else gets indestructible for a turn, which is pretty cool. And one of the Turntimber Symbiosis, which is digs 7 cards deep and puts +1 counters if it's a 3 or less mana cost, which we have a pretty good balance here. The rest of our mana base looks like 8 plains, 6 forest, all 4 pathways, and all 4 temples here. Sideboard, we're looking at a couple copies of Chainweb Aracnir for those rogue and mill type matchups, a couple of Drannith Magistrates, shut down Escape and Adventures, just a single copy of Heroic Intervention for those board wipe heavy matchups, a couple of Scavenging Ooze, going to be our graveyard interaction, a couple of Spyglass, shut down opposing planeswalkers like Ugin and whatnot, 2 Archon of Emeria. When your opponent wants to cast multiple spells per turn or is trying to ramp, things like that, we can really slow down our opponent. 2 copies of Broken Wings, gives us some more interaction. We can hit flyers with this, or we can artifacts or enchantments. And 2 copies of Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis, to go with our Chainweb Aracnir, giving us some more escape for those mill strategies. And also with our Vigilant creatures tend to have a little bit higher toughness and lower power. She gives our creatures +2/+1, so that has some nice synergy there. But it works in certain matchups, so leave it in the sideboard. That's the it's X3 RG3. Seems okay. We have at least a green source. So we have turn 2 Grazer. Another land. See how it is. Alright, Rootgrazer, let's get him. Oh, speaker, I'll take that. Alright, so we got a human and a non-human, but it looks like our opponent's on mono green, unless they're missing a color. We are rocking the goblin sleeve, so it could be a Gruul or something. You're in mono green, manually tapping for a Wolfwillow Haven. Cool, cool. Go put the counter on the speaker. And just like that, we're up to 22. Alright, our opponent Wolfwillow Haven into Garruk's Uprising. So super slow start. So we build up our speaker here. Try to get to that magic 27. Especially if they're on mono green, they probably have great ways of dealing with flyers. Although there are some stuff, obviously Gem Razor, Broken Wings that can deal with flyers, but if they're just pinging off our 4/4s and not answering our board, then wow, mono green do nothing. And if they're running a bunch of big creatures, maybe Basri is not as good. So we'll try Broken Wing, since we know at least they're running some enchantments. We don't really care about things like Wolfwillow Haven. They're more annoying than anything we need to worry about, but Garruk's Uprising can definitely give them value if we get into a bit of a grind. Alright, seems reasonable. Heedbonder into Questing Beast. We'll go Temple here, try to find a 2-drop. Those are Broken Wings. I guess we'll keep it. I mean, we brought it in, right? Might as well try to get some value. So they are Gruul. Okay. So, Wolfwillow Haven. A Warden of the Chain does a 4/4, sure. Alright, Heedbonder, come on down. Start gaining that life. So all basics from our opponent, just the one red source. Let's make that a bit of a questionable mana base, or they've just been really unlucky. Of course, they chose to keep these hands, so that's certainly a factor as well. Oh, Inscription. Well, that hurts. Alright, double green here, so Questing Beast. I'm fine with the trading here. Next turn we have Grazer into Heedbonder. Oh, they don't even block. Terror of the Peaks. Okay, well, I guess we're Broken Wings. And Grazer here. Alright, we do lose a little bit of life, but that's fine. Terror of the Peaks can do some pretty nasty things. Do you need to consider blocking this Warden now that we're down to 12? Scorching Dragonfire. Trample through for 2, but that's fine. Could wait and try to fight as one, but... Okay, they have double inscription. We're just Basri's here. Alright, now we got the protection open as well, but it's like we've kind of run them out of a lot of their tricks. Absolutely going to attack in here. We got double fight as one. No reason not to fire one off here. And gain a little bit of life. And if they target one of our creatures here with Terror of the Peaks triggered ability, then we'll we have the protection for that as well. Just a Garruk's Uprising. You get to draw a card. Double Garruk's Uprising. Okay, well, they're tapped out. So no more tricks here, no more creatures. We're taking 5. Thanks to this Heedbonder, though, we're at least gaining life back. More lands, not what we want to see. Right, we're going to gain 2 up to 11. It's definitely a world where they can just go face and do some nasty things that way. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What do you want to pick, dude? I mean, if you target the Basri Lieutenant, we can't block your Questing Beast, and we can't block your Terror of the Peaks, so... I don't know why this is so hard for them to decide. I guess they don't like the life gain of Heedbonder. Of course, Basri's Lieutenant and Heedbonder are both humans, so we only get the 1 bonus. But now we got Indestructible, so if you want to attack anyone with your Questing Beast, we'll happily block. We got an Indestructible dude. Just swinging 5 in the air, yep. We're still not in a good spot here. Opponent had all the timely removal, and they've stabilized with double Garruk's Uprising, drawn them a bunch of cards. Alright, this will give us 3 life gain. Don't block. Perfect. And gain 3 life here, back to 9. They can definitely kill us with a Terror of the Peaks activation, though. Well, they got us with Bone Crusher, Terror of the Peaks. Okay. So our opponent actually kept a bit of a sketchy hand, it seems like, but they still got there. I haven't seen any non-basics from that other than Castle Amberth when you're predominantly green. That's not how I would do it, but hey. And if we escape this, we can fight. Doesn't seem worth it. Yeah, we just need to draw some more removal to deal with that Terror of the Peaks. If we can kill Terror, then I don't think they can do much against us. Opponent gets pretty nice value off the Garruk's Uprising, which you don't always see. But what appears to be a sketchy mana base definitely gives us plenty of reason for hope in this matchup. So, but yeah, now we got a way to deal with Terror of the Peaks, and if we can keep that under control, then we should be in good shape. Double 4-drop. I'm generally like to save the Frondland Felidar for later, so we'll lead on the Basri's Lieutenant. And we're in all the Wolfwillow Havens. Alright, perfect. Heedbonder, come on down. Guess we could have played the Branchloft and then tapped this to put a basic land, but I don't think it really matters. We got turn 4 anyway. Klothys is annoying. Nothing in the graveyards though, so Skyclave answers that. Is that worth it? We'll definitely want this on white. I mean, they definitely have removal, so they could start picking off our stuff, but I think I'd rather just keep adding to the board and kind of force them to have some answers here. With the empty graveyards. I'm not going to sweat this Klothys just yet. All the Wolfwillow Havens, sure. Kind of curious they're running Wolfwillow Haven instead of like Elysian Caryatid or some some creature that can produce mana. Is there some kind of a enchantment synergy that we haven't seen yet from them? Well, I don't want them to start drawing cards, but they're also not really not in a very good spot here either way. Either save the Broken Wings for Terror of the Peaks because Skyclave did not get up to 5; it only gets up to 4. I mean, there's not much they can do. Do we even care about the Garruk's Uprising? They don't have double red. Is there anything that they can do to get out of this? I don't think so. I'm going to go for the Felidar here. So if they just tap out for a creature, then we just swing out and tap the creature down and just kill them on board. The style of deck is fun, but it's kind of inconsistent. I don't know about the Wolfwillow Havens. I'd rather just have an actual creature down. They can always jump block while you're setting up for your bigger threats. Okay, so I have 2 mana open to try to find something here. Glass Casket can deal with Bone Crusher Giant or Apparition, or we just attack and tap it with the Felidar. So they are running Caryatid, okay. Yeah, attack with your Klothys. Well, we just need to take out any creature, and then they're they lose their devotion. We tap it down. Boom, Frondland Felidar, man, that card is clutch. Love that card. Okay, against PRU. Well, maybe. We queued into a match and then decided to have better things to do. Oh, there they are. Not ideal, but we have the Banishing Light for removal and double Felidar, which is pretty key card for us. So yeah, we'll try it. Go on the draw as well. Okay, we got some kind of an Izzet list. Sure, we'll tempo here. Maybe we can find a 2-drop or something. No, we don't need that. Improbable Alliance. I found both of our Emeria's calls. At this rate, might actually just be able to hard cast one of these. up to 5. Just find 2 more lands. Omen of the Sea. Here comes the 1/1 fairies. Probably want to deal with this Banishing Light so they don't get out of control. We do not like go wide strategies. As that's going to have a hard time dealing with enchantments, so. Getting in there for 1. Our opponent's holding mana open with 4 spells in hand. So I'm going to play this on green. Just run out the Felidar. Could try to play around a counterspell with Rootgrazer, I guess, but use a draw 2 list. Don't typically run a whole lot of counterspells. I'm just going to scry here. Not sure what they're holding in hand. Maybe just some shocks, Scorching Dragonfire stuff that doesn't answer our 3/5. I imagine they're running at least some Brazen Borrowers or something like that. Omen of the Sea, now Deliberate. So yeah, plenty of card draw. But if all you're doing is drawing cards and not actually doing anything, then that's fine. Another Improbable Alliance. Just Basri's Lieutenant here, I think. Just make sure we get in for damage, keep their life total low. And we're actually up to 6 mana, so yeah, we'll just keep this Emeria's Call for the 7th land. So next one we have Felidar and Grazer, or just Felidar, hold open mana to tap down. It's probably just better to just hold open mana to the tap. Could have some kind of instant speed draw here. Nope, they're just going to tap out for the Alliance activation. Don't see that very often. I guess that's kind of the byproduct of drawing lots of cards, is you'll find your land drops. Oh, Experimental Overload, so they probably have another one in hand. I mean, Questing Beast puts in a lot of work here. We already have the Felidar, so yeah. Can't block Questing Beast, now make it so they can't block the 7 from here either. When it's down to 7, we need to find some answers. They could potentially have like a Storm's Wrath. Well, that'd be a little interesting to run in your main deck. Just another Alliance. 4 mana's open still. Okay, Scorching Dragonfire into Fire Prophecy. Okay, so they're tapped out, so we can Felidar number 2. And still tap down their dudes and go to game 2 with a healthy lead. Well, now they have... Oh, Fire Prophecy, yeah, they activated it, so they get 2 more dudes. Wow, are we at 7 mana already? It's interesting. Well, they can't block the Questing Beast, and we can only tap down 2 of their things. Yeah, just make some 4/4s. Go ahead and save this Felidar as kind of a sort of a combat trick. We can play it and then activate these guys when they're not really expecting it. I mean, they're down to the last card, so they have to have some kind of something juicier. Oh, they could just activate Improbable Alliance again though and make a couple more 2/2s. I mean, either way, these 1/1s can't deal with the Questing Beast, so they need to find an answer for that or find a bigger creature that can block. So sideboard, definitely want to bring in our Broken Wings, which should line up very nicely against them. We can either take out a token to free up some more damage to get through, or just deal with these improbable lines before they do, you know, what they're doing right now. 5 tokens now, but this Questing Beast is just not something they can deal with unless they have double burn spell or like a Thundering Rebuke. So they could certainly have in their sideboard, but they don't appear to be running it in their main. And yeah, Questing Beast just gets a job done here. Aracnir probably works pretty well against them as well. Helps make it so they can't activate their Improbable Alliance, but typically that's not where you get the most value from it. I think Archon actually lines up pretty well against them. Do these lists run creatures? I mean, they probably run Ironcrag, that Pyromancer dude. Or a girl. Man, I like the Aracnir. There's a 1/1 speaker, not as good. So I think we still leave the fight as one enter to maybe try to cancel out some of their damage spells. Archon seems good. I don't really see like anything from their graveyard that might give us cause for concern. So I'll go ahead and shave off the Basri Ket. It's pretty susceptible to damage-based effects. Skyclave is fine. I mean, we still get their improbable alliances and whatnot, which is pretty key card in the matchup. I think the life gain could be pretty important. But we'll just shave there, just try to make some room. And yeah, we'll try like that. We did have the advantage of winning game 1, so we can be a little bit more leeway here with our sideboarding. Yeah, we can assume they're running like Ironcrag Pyromancers and whatnot. And we do have 2 lands. Some nice sideboard cards, and Questing Beast, which should put in work against them. On the draw as well, we just need to find a 3rd land of any kind here, really. I don't like bolting in for a speaker, which probably dies, but just kind of force them to answer it. So just go for it. Some direct damage that doesn't go to our face, potentially. We got the Grazer now on 2, and if they play Pyromancer on 3, even if we miss our land drop, we at least have an answer for that. But we'll need another land to Broken Wings their alliance. Looks like they're just holding up an instant speed card draw here. They could have brought a couple counterspells in, maybe. With some Essence Scatter, since we're pretty creature heavy. Okay, so they do. I'm fine with the Grazer getting countered there. I mean, we got Questing Beast and Archon of Emeria, which line up much better against them. If they want to spend their manas doing that, that's fine. Well, they're tapped out, so we can Broken Wings their alliance, which kind of locks them out of the game. And we have Questing Beast next turn. I think I'm fine with that. It's tempting to just drop the Archon here just to get under counterspell, but we don't know they're running Fire Prophecies and Scorching Dragonfires, so let's attack first. We'll save Questing Beast. Could be holding up another counterspell, so we'll Alpine Watchdog. Resolves. We do want to kind of pressure them because they can definitely draw their way out of this. But we want to be a little bit careful to play around some sideboard counter magic. Okay, they just fire off a Deliberate. Top, bottom. Okay, so they found something. Either remove a spell or another alliance, maybe. So there's the Pyromancer. Definitely want to deal with that immediately. Land off the top would be amazing to get our Emeria down as well, but We're going to prioritize this Glass Casket for sure because they're going to start picking off our dudes, which we don't like at all. Skyclave is fine too, but we can take the Alliance instead. So Glass Casket's only real target is the Pyromancer, so there it is. There's the Alliance. Fire off our Apparition to deal with that. Well, not before they can deliberate, and at least make one token here. Two mana open. Okay, it's not a counter spell. So we've dealt with the two Alliances and Pyromancer, so we're doing okay here. They don't seem to have any counter magic, although they're going to draw with the Omen, so a little bit mindful of another Essence Scatter, but I imagine it's not more than like a 2 or 3 out of their sideboard. One top, one bottom. Let's see what they fire off here. Overload, making a 4/4. I think Archon is actually just really good, as long as I don't have a way to answer it. I'm going to go ahead and pay here. I mean, they're drawing tons of cards, so if we can kind of slow them down. Royal Scions, that's a pretty good value. Start swinging in with your 4/4. Trample, first strike. It's pretty good. No, just going to draw a discard. We're down to 14, so probably not feeling too aggressive here. They got the Deliberate back, and then they just decided to discard it. Well, fire off this Questing Beast. If they got an Essence Scatter, then so be it. There's a nice little top deck for them. Well, we'll tack down these Scions here. They don't even block with their token. They don't care. They discarded Deliberate because they had another one in hand, apparently. Or they just top decked that. Bottom. Oh, they're are you flooding out over there? So I'm going to draw a discard again. So they're going to start digging through the library, finding their good stuff. We don't have good attacks thanks to this 4/4, and we haven't found our Felidar. And they counter our Questing Beast, so definitely looking favorable for them at this point. We'd have some nice Archon of Emeria to kind of shut them down a little bit, slow them down. Well, we want to keep the Scions in check, so if it gets to ultimate territory, that's pretty nasty. Wow, you're in a experimental overload build and you're running Mystic Subdual? Sure. I guess you're kind of struggling for some universal removal, but why not just run like a Brazen Borrower or something at that point? I don't know. I mean, Mystic Subdual is probably a little bit underplayed, generally speaking, but just not really expecting something I would find in like a draw 2 spell heavy list like this. So, like, I mean, Overload is a sweet card, but you kind of want to maximize value off of it. But I guess when like 90% of your spell deck is already kind of doing that, then I guess. Well, this stupid 4/4 token is keeping us in check, which is pretty annoying. I mean, Chainweb Aracnir, pick off, I guess. I mean, we've had good answers to all their threats and whatnot, but we just have kind of stalled out on our big threats. We've drawn, you know, our Grazer and Alpine Watchdogs and our Skyclave Apparition, but no real threats. They counter our Questing Beast. I don't know. Rather just go to game 3, honestly. I'm not gonna. I mean, we're an unranked. It's not really worth sitting through another however long to try to slog this one out. I'd rather just move on. Cool. And it's pretty even there. I mean, definitely could have gone either way with the right top deck, but like Frondland Felidar definitely could have drawn us out of it, but it definitely was not lining up in our favor. It seems like obviously Magic's a game of variance, but on Arena it definitely feels like there's something about the way games unfold. It definitely feels like certain players are favored, like with draws and whatnot. They're actually sideboarding here for game 3. Obviously, these draw 2 lists can get out of control if left unchecked. We need a white source, but we'll give it a try. Top. There's our white source. Well, so probably just a Watchdog here and then play the call as a tap land. Or not. Definitely deal with that first chance we get. It's kind of weird how some removal spells, like, they automatically know what to target, but even though our opponent had literally no other targets, we still had to like actually click on the alliance. I don't know if that's just like a bug on Arena or what. And now we're just kind of flooding out a little bit. And if they draw a Pyromancer is bad for us, so we'll keep. I'm gonna Essence Scatter my Alpine Watchdog. So apparently when we draw Watchdogs, we are not in a good spot. And it is a nice creature to flesh out our Vigilance tribal list, but just 2-mana 2/2 isn't really great by itself. Obviously works well once we have our Heedbonder and Felidar out and whatnot. We do have protection here, although we can only protect one thing. You can kill the Apparition, but you don't get your alliance back, you just get a token. I just wasted a spell here. Perfect. I get a 2/2 token, which means our Watchdogs don't really have good attacks, so I think that was worthwhile there, especially now we gotta put them down to 9. So we got double removal spells in hand. Well, they could obviously go Pyromancer, like Opt or something, and then pick off our Apparition, and then get a 2/2 token back to block. We do have double answers in that situation, but we're still only swinging in for 4. Experimental Overload, making it 2/2. Well, Apparition cannot hit that. But Glass Casket can. I think we go for the Arachnirs to maximize our threats here. They could Dragonfire it, but then they're still not in a good spot. Okay, they get a 2/2 back. Fortunately, we cannot Apparition the 2/2 token, but they need another removal or a creature here. Otherwise, they're just dead on board. 3 damage. Another Apparition. Alright. So I'm sure they have some removal spell. They didn't concede. Block the 2/2, take 3. Kill the other Watchdog. Oh, Mystic Subdual. Coming in clutch. Bit risky here, but it's kind of the same thing either way, I guess. Let's force them to have a way to deal with our board state again. They find their 5th land, see if that helps them out. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, 2 mana opens, so they're probably going to be able to kill something here. We have Apparition for the Pyromancer. Okay, so they can kill our Apparition, get a 2/2 token. We block our Watchdog, take 1, go to 1. And this is so frustrating being so close. Okay, we hold the Felidar here. I think we still attack. So they have to deal with our Felidar next turn. We got them down to 1, so they're definitely on the ropes. But we're kind of living on the edge here, in a way, where things could definitely turn in their favor if they're able to kind of find some removal and start pumping out some tokens. I mean, it has lots of efficient removal, but they don't have ways of dealing with, like, 5 toughness creatures and things like that. And they could have an Essence Scatter here as well to counter our Felidar, but apparently they don't have anything. Ooh. It's a pretty rough matchup. Obviously, game 2 could have been a little bit more patient, try to find a Felidar or something to dig out of it, but that just, those matchups get super grindy like that, and you're just top decking nothing, and your opponent just kind of keeps finding answers. It gets kind of frustrating, so not really worthwhile, generally speaking, for me personally, but definitely could have potential won in game 2 there. But game 3, we still got him. Though it was very close, even though it didn't necessarily look like it. They definitely could have stabilized pretty quickly against us, I think. So yeah, I do like the Basri Kets. Wasn't in my initial build, but then I kind of was like taking a look at the Vigilance aspect and thought that. And Basri Ket is just not a card I've really played around with a whole lot. So it definitely felt nice in this list with all the Vigilance that we already have. So it's easy to protect our Basri Ket. Frondland Felidar continues to be an all-star in a Vigilance tribal list, and obviously we have things like Questing Beast and Basri's Lieutenant, which work amazingly well. We have the life gain from the Heedbonder, which synergizes extremely well with the Speaker of the Heavens, which also has Vigilance. Grazer is just kind of a decent body here in the 2-drop slot, but we have Watchdog, which is pretty medium, but we also get to run things like Skyclave Apparition, since we're already leaning towards white with our mana base. Anyway, and then I did try like Heliod and things like that, but it just felt kind of cute with all the life gain aspect, and just not quite worth it. I'd rather have like Banishing Lights, Apparition, and even the Basri Ket over like a Heliod. But if you really want to lean more into the counter synergy, you could probably try something like that with like Heliod's and whatnot. But that's kind of the way I've chosen to run it, and it's been working out pretty well for me. The Fight is one. It's kind of a late addition as well, since so much removal in the format. We need to really kind of protect some of our key creatures, and since we have like a nice balance of humans and non-humans, obviously Heedbonder and Lieutenant are humans, then we have Questing Beast and Frondland Felidar, which are pretty key cards as well. So being able to potentially protect both of those for a single mana has been pretty awesome. And since we're a little more mid-rangey, the Emeria's Call and Turntimber Symbiosis are definitely cards we can actually get value off of. And with all of our life gain, we don't necessarily even mind paying the 3 life for these either. So all in all, this has felt pretty solid to me. Elspeth and Chainweb Aracnir, give you some nice value against the mill type strategies that are pretty prevalent. Not much we can do against the Ugin except for Spyglass, so we're running a couple copies of that. I do like the Drannith Magistrate, of course, for general sideboard tech against those adventure and escape type decks. Obviously I'd like to fit more of these, but I don't know, maybe Elspeth could come out and just run 3 Chainweb, 3 Drannith Magistrate, but I do like the value that she represents and some nice synergy in the right matchups. But Archon is still a pretty solid sideboard card, but maybe that's one as well you can look at. Do need something like Broken Wings, which does have the removal aspect for flyers, since we don't really have too much ways of dealing with that, but also hits enchantments and artifacts, which are pretty important. So I do like the Broken Wings here. But overall, this is all pretty solid. The Vigilance Sideboard continues to be a pretty nice list as long as Frondland Felidar is in the format, and of course Questing Beast gives the deck like a really powerful dimension as well. Speaker, I've definitely gotten plenty of games where I've been able to make 4/4 tokens with this and really just kind of taking over games very handily. So yeah, super fun list. Hope you guys give it a try. It's mildly competitive. You could play this on ranked if you wanted to, and certainly do okay, I think. So yeah, until next time, make sure you guys jank with a purpose.